for the 2019 Dodge. And then payroll, which is really the lion's share of the 17,000 is the sand. All right, any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yeah. All right, make a motion to approve the water manifest. Total on the water manifest is $14,492.96. The lion's share of that goes to Simply
You
Water.
can't discuss until we,
Oh, I'm sorry, do I make a motion?
you need to make a motion.
I make a motion to approve and discuss the water manifest.
Second.
All right, discussion. All right, so I was gonna say that $14,492.96. The lion's share of that is Simply Water at $9,365.40. But that's not only the monthly water operator fee that include repairs to the pH system and buildings and ground. Not sure what that GG stands for. GG, buildings and ground? General government, buildings and ground. pH repairs were $1,509, and then buildings and grounds were $3,456. Any questions? Discussion? All approved?
Aye.
Aye. 3-0. All right. So now make a motion that we go on to the DPW report. Time is 9:08.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jeff.
Yeah, so we're just cleaning up from the storm over the weekend, and 4 or 5 inches of some wet snow. Yeah. You know, which is always not our favorite to plow, but I think it cleaned up nicely. We got another inch last night that we're gonna have to clean up again. Again, I you know, middle of the winter, I probably wouldn't clean up the inch off the gravel roads, but now this time of year, I want to get it off, keep them as dry as possible. The less snow that melts on the roads and keeps them wet, the better. So we're scraping them off now, and yeah. All that done, in that process, we're gonna try to strip down the big truck, I believe, and get that all stripped down, the hardware off of that, and get that sander cleaned up, and
So when you say big truck, what are you talking
the
about?
7400. Get the chains off the grader in the backhoe in case we have to run them on the roads. We don't really want to run the grader on the roads at this point, but we're gonna strip the hardware off of that as well. Yeah, just keep going along with everything else for the spring operations.
So one of your reports from last week was you said you noticed a culvert pipe on Bard needs replacing, has a sinkhole, old metal culvert rotting out.
Yeah.
Do we have
Culvert to replace it with? No. Yeah, we'll have to get some better eyes on that, but we did notice we were filling potholes and noticed what we thought was maybe a pothole, and we started filling it and just keep going down and down. So I noticed it's a culvert. It still was buried in the snow on the edges of it. I believe it's an old metal pipe. I couldn't, like I said, I didn't dig it out to get a good look at it. But yeah, it's one of those that, you know, again, I believe it's an old rotted one.
Has it
Get some better eyes on. But
has it been working, or is it creating drainage problems, or?
no, it's pretty flat up there, but it works. I mean, but again, it's it has a big dip there. Not big, but it's a little dip down. You know, when the pipe crosses the road, which is, you know, one of the signs of it failing. And then the sinkhole down on the exit end of it. You know, the top would be rotting as well in that situation. Create the sinkhole. So as the snow melts off, we're gonna have to get a little better look at it. You know, it's luckily not a very traveled area. The houses are all on the opposite end of this, so they're not usually coming out your side of it. So you know what I mean? They're going down the other way out. So it's not anything we could drive over right now anyway. you know, it'd be something I think we're gonna have to address and,
So it's midway on Biden?
yeah, it's kind of the uphill side where you have the view and everything, you know, we're clearing.
So it exhausts out to the power lines?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think I know which one you're talking
yeah. There's that, yeah, so that's something we take a look at.
This week you have an item called Talk About Power Steering Pump in 2018.
Yeah,
What's the issue
the
there?
power steering pump's been whining quite a bit, we've been adding a lot of fluid to it. I feel there's was a slow leak, but I think it's been getting worse and worse, so I think we're gonna have to get that looked at. I don't know if it's maybe a line underneath there, we'll poke our heads under there, it's kind of a really bad spot to see, really. I mean, they pack everything into their motors, but that might have to go into Albany service and have them take a look, see if the pump is on its way out, or if it's just a line going to it. But I guess that reservoir, that whole setup is the steering and brakes are kind of combined together. So it's something that diligent, keeping an eye on, and topping that tank off quite quickly. It'd be like once every month or two, now it's been like, you know, every other day. But, you know, it's something that once we buy some weather, which we might be today, I'll have that down in the there and look at it.
Okay. 2018, going for another year or so. Then you also have a line saying, have a meeting with commissioners about various topics, roads, gravel, FEMA projects. Clearly, we as a board have said in the past that we do want to do periodic meetings.
Right,
with
that's kind of
all the DPW employees to
Sure.
go over this sort of stuff. So I'm assuming that's in line with that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So are we in a position where we want to schedule
A meeting with
meeting?
Jeff?
And I'm assuming Tony and Andrew as well. Everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to explain a few things on my own and then go into it with the rest of us as well, yeah.
Okay.
If that would work for you guys.
Okay. So, people have openings this week, do that. Is Tony in today?
He is.
If you want.
Nancy, were you planning to come to the office this week as well?
Yes.
I mean, we could, if everybody's available, we could recess this meeting when we're finished and then reconvene this afternoon. Have a meeting with the DPW board.
I'm scheduled to call Willie Newtile at 4.
You guys knock off at 3,
Yes.
so
That's why I made it.
I would propose we have a meeting at 2. Would that work? Double check my calendar, sure it does. It's hard. Yeah, okay, I can do 2.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, so,
We'll recess it.
all right, we will recess the meeting, meet with you, and then you'll call in,
Yeah,
other
with you
two.
guys.
Okay, all right. And then you have another thing, is it asked about salt?
Yeah, so,
We get the garage?
Yeah, let's meet at the garage, yeah.
yeah, you know, figured we're still in decent shape for what we've been getting and what we're gonna get, but I don't know, if I thought maybe, you know, it's like anything else, I'm sure the price is gonna go up next year. I don't know if we wanna load a couple loads in the salt shed now, you know, before the close of the season. I don't know if that's something that, you know, I mean, it's gonna cost, but I mean, just, like I said, trying to throw that out there, I don't know.
Does it keep?
Yeah. Yeah, it stays nice and dry in the shed.
Okay, okay.
We have done that in the past.
Right.
We did it last year.
How much were you thinking?
I thought of 2 triaxle loads was what we used, you know, and, I could fit in there.
And that runs about, what?
You know, 3,000 a load or something like that. I can't remember. Last time we had Eastern Minerals bill a couple of months ago. It's been a while since we've gotten it.
Yeah.
So it's 3,000 per triaxle load.
I guess is the top of my.
Okay, so, okay, just ballpark figure.
Yeah.
You want 2 triaxle loads?
Yeah.
We're looking at $6,000 worth of salt.
That, again, that's the price on it. I don't know, you know.
All right, I'm gonna make make a suggestion, let's get a better price on that and then bring that up again next week for a motion to go ahead and do it. I'm not comfortable, this is just me speaking personally, putting that forward and doing it. It makes perfect sense, but I'd be more comfortable if I knew what the dollar amount was. We're not shooting blind.
The likelihood of prices going up for next year.
I agree, I agree. I'm saying it's a good idea. Is a 1 week delay going to hurt anything? You have enough salt right now for your needs for the remainder of whatever winter we have left, correct?
Yeah, I could buy.
That's my thoughts and feelings. If you two have different opinions, this is your time to opine.
Could you make that decision later today when you resume the meeting at 2?
We could.
Would
We've
be a
got,
public meeting at that point.
yeah, it would be a public meeting, yeah.
So just check the number and then, so you're not delaying it by more than.
You could
6
use whatever
hours.
the last bill was that you had.
Yep,
Figure
bills
out-
are up, but
Right, just figure out what the,
Which will
what
also
the
be
price is. Look
The
that up.
fuel's already gone up.
Right.
Fuel wasn't $5 a gallon for diesel.
Right.
But,
Yeah, that's the other thing
Right.
we're contending with.
so this afternoon,
Yep, this afternoon will be good.
So that makes sense to me. Okay. All right. Anybody have any further questions for Jeff?
I had some questions. So I talked to Willie this afternoon. We held off discussions last week until we talked to Ian. And you didn't hear how that went, but Logano, yeah. There's a new problem, and it may be on the property owner side. So that changes things. Ian's waiting and he's not going after that problem until the ground is thawed. It's gonna start with excavating the curb stop to see whether water's flowing out of the curb stop and the problem's on the property owner side, or whether there's a problem on our side of the curb stop going back down
Right.
with the line that we want to replace anyway. Even though this line goes down to the main on Eidelweiss Drive, Ian says there's a 2-inch water main that comes down to service the rest of the street and connects at the main. So I'm picturing that Willie has to smash rock between where the water main is and where the curb stop is.
Yeah.
So I was gonna talk to Will about the timing of that, but now I gotta say that's not the critical timing issue. It would be, we may want to start ditching before that, because I'm not sure when Ian wants to stop that. But then we still have to coordinate him getting there. He says he can get a rock hammer on the smaller excavator,
I think I said that.
but I think we were assuming that the bigger excavator has more leverage with the rock hammer, because the weight of the
Oh, yeah, no.
base is anchored, it's not bouncing around like a smaller machine would.
Yeah.
So I'll talk to him about that today. I guess I'd like a list of his equipment and pricing. I don't know if he has things like rollers, and he does hardscaping, so.
Yeah. I don't mention anything about it.
So I just wanna let you know that
Yeah,
I'm still working on that.
yeah.
Still March, still winter.
I know it.
The gravity eye wash, the green system, the DPW two. You guys have a chance to get that back in, working?
No,
Um,
not sure really what the right way to go about sanitizing that thing is.
I think,
You know, how do you know you get all the soap out of it or rinse it out properly?
I think it needs to be rinsed several times, and I think it needs a cycle of pure hydrogen peroxide rinse,
Yeah,
which will kill anything. But it really needs to be cleaned. So it's been on my mind, I'll follow through with you on that, we'll get the thing down to DPW one.
oh, yeah,
When you get it down to DPW one, let me know,
okay.
and I'll get some,
Yeah, we'll take it off the wall today. Pull it off the wall.
I mean, you have the bottles, it's still in a,
Right.
so I'm not that worried about
No,
it.
if something were to go south, we don't. grab the Johnson boot and get through.
if hydraulic fluid got in somebody's eyes, I think there's a little panic with that, not, I'd like all resources to be available.
Right,
So if you get that down there, I'll get peroxide to do a second rinse with it.
okay,
And we'll get that sterilized, and then we'll load it with distilled water and get it back.
yeah.
Anything, Nancy? I've got one more thing. I'm just curious, we have to start planning, looking forward. In regard to the commercial driver's license school, you said it was 4 to 5 weeks, but I'm reading this letter from White Mountains Community College. And it says it's 1 semester, a 15-week program divided into 4 courses.
Yeah,
Do
that's,
you need all 4 courses?
well, that's probably one we're not gonna go. That's the more, I thought that might be an option, but after reading over that, you know, it's just, I've called several different schools and looked into several different things. And that, you know, I thought that'd be a good one, to support, you know, Berlin, but that's probably not the one we're gonna go. I mean, it's, yeah, like I said, I think it's gonna be more costly, and I think it's gonna be more time consuming, so there's a couple other ones, like I said, that last week, there's one that I think we're gonna already rule out that, you know, they come here and utilize our truck. I think the one that he's gonna go down there and use their truck, what he's gotta do is get his, permit first. By going around the troop be there, get the book, take the door test, and get the permit, and then you can go and enroll into this other school down in Pelham. I believe it's like $44,000 to $4,200 dollars, and I believe it's a 6-week program or a 5-week program.
Was that about the duration of the one when you went through it all those years ago?
It was different. Class, you took the written test, and you made an appointment, you took the driving test. There's a walk around and inspection staff test, and then there's a, you know, and that's what the schooling shows you. So many people were failing the walk around and even the driving, that they made it a mandatory thing to take a test now, so. But then they lighten up the test in the whatever, but, yeah, so I don't know, it's different than the rest.
Okay, so what we need to know for planning purposes is, when is that course offered?
Right.
How many weeks is it? Is it like in this case, a lot of from White Mountains, he's not there the full day. He's only there for a partial day, but probably the driving where the guy is would take up a lot of time too.
Yeah, that looked like it's over in their Lancaster branch, so it's not even over in Berlin. So yeah, that one initially seemed like the one, but the more I read through it, I'm like, oh no, that's not.
All right.
You know, that's gonna be the.
All right, so get the, when they offer it.
Yeah, I'll see when their sessions run in and out, and how they do it more.
It seems to me, you probably would want to put them through in the fall after most of the summer work is done, but I don't know if they even offer courses in the fall.
Yeah, I'd like to get it through as soon as possible.
But then you'd be sacrificing manpower if it's during the road work time.
Do we know who Conway uses? Because they were advertising that they're gonna send somebody if they hired.
They have a kid there, I believe, that does the training in-house.
Do they let them do that?
We bumped into a guy at the,
Because we used to do that.
yeah, we bumped into a guy at the state shed who works over there. And we're talking to him, this was like last year, and, he said he teaches the guys how to get their license through over there. I don't know if he's certified or what the deal is, but I don't know. That's like all it has. How they do that, if it's something we can get in on. I know the state has their own program, but we could, you know, gas.
Maybe worth a call.
Yeah, yeah.
Other than actual road work, I put that a pretty high priority. We need to plug that in and plan for it.
Right.
Okay. All right, that's all I have.
All righty, we'll see you later on. Thank you.
All right, it is, all right, Jeff, thank you. You have a good day. We'll see you later.
Yep.
9:26, let's move on to the commissioners' reports. Nancy?
No. Nope, I don't have much of anything.
Mark, do you have anything?
Yeah, I looked at various local banks about certificates of deposit. I was thinking that instead of opening up a low interest account just to separate that money, if I could catch you in time before you actually did that, we could investigate. And I was surprised to see that Camden, so it's within the same bank. We're talking about, putting retention money
Okay.
from,
That's what I was kind of came here today for.
to find out
I
what.
was very curious about. the stock going
Typically,
down.
what we do with a big project with a contractor is we make payments at the beginning of the contract
Okay,
to get, there's a starting percentage, it's usually like 10% to start, so they can buy the fuel, mobilize. And then at various points of progress, we make other installation payments, and at the end, we make a final payment, but we withhold 10%, what we call retention money. And that's for a year, which is the warranty on the pipe work that was done.
okay,
So, we like to put it into an interest-bearing account because we're holding their money back. We don't need to see them lose an opportunity to make interest because we're holding the money. So I'm trying to do it anyway, to see how the current banking world works. So, Camden has a 6-month CD that they're paying 3.75, I think.
okay,
And then they have 90-day ones where we might fill in the odd amount of time that's left after 6 months. Cause
okay.
I think they finished around October, so we need to nail down these dates as to when we would do to give them their 10% that we withheld. So, I was bringing it up today to say I could call Laurie Colton, who's the manager there. Didn't know whether you'd be here today, we was gonna discuss whether it's better for you to talk to her or me, but not me.
Okay,
To see whether they can let us open up the CD and move the amount of money that will be withheld, which would be the 10% of what we pay, what they invoice us for at the end of the contract. And then maybe calculate what interest they would it did make on the pittance that they paid for the checking account.
which is.
Close to nothing,
Dust.
maybe not worth the math. But getting them 3.75, they might appreciate it. They like to take care of contractors like that, so
Right,
so they like doing business with us.
okay, and, what about with the truck loans and stuff? That money's separated off, no, with the truck,
Oh,
what's going on with the vehicle?
we are waiting to get the contract from tax exempt leasing,
Okay,
to provide the financing. I was going to do the commissioner's report.
okay,
I'm expecting that probably today. I was hoping to
okay,
be ready in time for this meeting, but it's not. Maybe by the time we meet this afternoon, we'll have it. So once we sign that,
About legal review.
that's true. We discussed getting a legal review on the contract.
We talked about it last.
Yes, you're right, absolutely right. Thank you for reminding me.
I wanted to talk about the timing on the Western Star purchase stuff, but stay on the subject.
Okay.
okay.
So anyway, that's still a
Sorry, I
work,
kinda took us
that's
off.
still a work in progress, but we have the financing, company lined up.
Okay,
Called Tax Exempt Leasing. We're very familiar with this area. Done a lot of business with Madison, Ospey. They know a lot of players in this area, so I was pretty impressed with them.
okay. And as far as this other, I would need to know, how much, before I talk to her.
So, 30 years ago, when CD rates were high, and loans, municipality loans were low, the village used to get a tax anticipation note and then invest that money in a CD against cash flow requirements. So we used to make money on a loan. We have a pretty good cash supply now due to FEMA reimbursements and the way we're building up the unassigned fund balance. So if it turns out that Camden has no problem with us opening up a CD in the village's name, and whether they will let you do that, or whether they want to see signatures from all of us, doesn't matter. We went through a lot with them to switch over from, what were they before? Northway
Northway.
to Camden. But I guess the banks and the federal government are suspicious of anybody that's not an individual that's moving money around in banks. So, be interesting to see whether we get into managing cash flow and we actually make investments at CDs like we used to increase.
Okay.
That would be having cash flow maps where you would know when it was we need to make payments on things like, which,
Is another thing I probably have to get together with someone on.
Yep. we would take it slow.
Good.
Yes.
So, let's decide now whether you wanna,
I can call Laurie.
you wanna talk to Laurie.
And what it would entail.
And you have a picture of that it's retention money in case she needs to know why we're doing that. Another thing I have is the audit.
Are we on Mark's reports or?
Yes, and we're still on
Okay.
Mark's commission report.
All right. Okay, sorry.
I'd like to see the audit be a permanent bullet on old business tabled items. I'm kind of very concerned about our situation with the audit, and I don't think that's something that we have time to kick down the road. Particularly where I'm kind of solely managing the FEMA stuff. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the idea that we don't have an auditing system in place makes me not want to do it. So I'd like to see us decide how we're going to solve the problem of the auditing of the 2025 books, which is the task at hand, and also have the system of in place of how the 2026 is going to get audited. It's kind of the thing that it's now March and time just goes by.
Yeah. I thought we were kind of on a dual track system where we're still gonna keep searching high and low for an auditing firm that will work with us and meet our budget. But at the same time, if that falls through the cracks, that next year we have to do the election on the locally appointed auditor, which would be a huge job of 2 years of auditing. So hopefully that's a radical, I wouldn't want to go that way.
So you feel that we're underway of searching high and low?
I think so. My particular account,
Who's searching high and low?
well, I put a message into my accountant, who I've been used for over 20 years, who used to be in Connecticut, is now in Rhode Island, but he's licensed in the state of New Hampshire as well. So he still does my taxes. I said, hey, do you know anybody up here, or do you know any organizations, anything, something that can give us leads that we can chase down? So I'm waiting to hear back from him. That's one way. Then I learned that in my PT, the lady that comes in right after me works for a local accounting firm. So I'm gonna tomorrow stay late till she comes in and just ask. So we'll see. You never know. You just you know.
There was one that responded, but their statement was we wouldn't like the price.
30 to 40,000 versus 12.
If that's what we have to pay to be compliant with the laws, that is something we may have to consider.
We may, but when you consider our entire budget, there's only 1.1 million. We don't even spend that much. 30,000 for audit? That's just like insane.
It'll be more now, watch.
Insane. So I agree. We may have to do that, but I think we can still shop around in the meantime.
Mhm.
And we have to shop around aggressively. So like I said, I'm putting out feelers, and I'll keep that. I think we all need to just, anybody we know, just keep asking, and see if we can find someone.
So is any accountant able to do this, or it has to be a specific skill?
I believe they have to be certified, licensed, whatever, to do municipalities.
And what I learned years ago, was that CPAs either specialize in municipal audits or they don't. Because it's a different kind of insurance policy they need, which is expensive. So they won't, that led me to conclude, you can't have a CPA say, take on one municipality. The companies that do it that's what they do. They do municipalities, they specialize in it, they keep track of New Hampshire law, and it's the insurance policy that prevents them from getting into the business. I don't know if that's changed, but that's what I learned years ago. So
if you hire someone individual, they also have to be certified?
if we do a local,
Mm.
no, they don't. They don't have to even be an accountant.
Correct.
And it can be more than one person. You can say that you want 3 community members to be the auditors of it.
But we can't go that route until after next year's annual meeting, assuming the voters approve
Right.
us appointing the local auditor. So,
But it's already been approved, it will be on next year's ballot.
right, they approved to go to present that question next year, right? That was that.
Well, to approve the selected, whomever you select, will be.
We don't select them.
We don't select
Oh,
them,
you don't.
it will be a
Vote.
vote, it will
Oh,
be
yeah,
who puts their name in the ballot,
I see.
the same way for any other
Elected
position.
position,
Oh.
yeah.
Wow.
So there was a recommendation by NHMA, I believe, the Municipal Association, to contact the Attorney General's office at some point and say, the law is working against us because it requires us to hire a CPA firm. They also said, going the route of having a locally elected auditor may not work with loan agreements we already have and future loan agreements.
Right.
So we're about to have somebody look at the loan agreements we may enter soon. And we should give them the heads up that we want to know if they see language in there that requires CPA, because we can't read that, we read the word CPA, we have to pay an attorney.
Yep, okay, so that,
So what you're saying, if that happens, you may have to hire someone.
yeah, if the loan covenants say that you have to have an official auditor, an outside auditing firm, not a local person, you're stuck. We have to do it. So, all I can request is, I'm putting out the feelers, you need to find some CPA or accounting firm that will
But the
take us on.
audit that we would get is for 2025, right?
Mhm.
We're not entering into these loans till 2026.
Yeah, but we have loans already on the books,
Oh,
so
you're
those
talking
have to
about
be looked at.
existing.
So the new ones need to be looked at, but the existing ones need to be looked at too.
Yep.
So, I'll make a motion that we have, audit be a bullet item under
Yeah.
old business line item number 9, the agenda each week,
Second.
Yes,
till we solve it.
all right,
Okay.
So the truck timing for the Western Star, it's still in my craw, the logic of ordering the truck before we hear from the grant money. Greenfleet. And it works if it doesn't flag the grantors, that they don't need to give us a grant, we're buying it. So can the timing be that we hold back on actually ordering it until we hear from them, because they said it was gonna be within a couple of weeks of our annual meeting? Which I'm sure they have no control over that, but that's all at the governor's office. The council meeting. You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
I do, but let's go worst case scenario. They say, no, we're not awarding you any. And
Well, we had that discussion, and I think the opposition was buy it anyway, because you weren't we didn't tell the legislative body during the discussion of that warrant article that we wouldn't buy the truck if we didn't get a grant. That was never said. You said, there's this grant that we're applying for, it may or may not have. So that's the way it went at the annual meeting. And I chose not to offer any other ideas, so that's the way the meeting went. So that's the way this can go also. But it's still, had to bring that one more time between all of us here on the timing of it. Whether it's too risky to hold it for a couple of weeks with the people that are selling us the truck. It was the common take when I said, this school's good for 14 days, and he said, well, it can be stopped over. I thought it was worth today's discussion just to bring it up one more time.
Yeah, well, I can certainly reach out to Mac and find out when it's gonna go before the general executive council. Should be pretty soon.
You can say you have a commissioner that's doubting that we should purchase this thing at all once we get the plan. Just to,
What's wrong with that?
because it's true.
Yeah.
But if you want to stick with what happened at the annual meeting, I can be good with that too. It's just worth one more conversation today.
Okay, well. All right.
I'm certainly okay with holding until we know the status of the grant from the executive council
Okay,
for that purchase.
okay, but, again, let's say we get awarded some money, whether it's 10, 50, or the full 80%. We still have to purchase it before we see a dime of reimbursement.
Yep.
Correct.
Madison's getting 70%.
Yeah.
And they waited until, they actually got the grant first before the order. They put the order in under duress because their situation was they needed to get the truck in-house by the end of the year.
Right.
And the truck, they're buying one that's being built. There's a risk that the truck doesn't get built in time before they lose the grant, and that's a mess for them. Ours is different, is that we're buying an existing truck at a dealership. And we're at our annual meeting before we learn what the grant is gonna be. So we'll do. So if your point is, we get a smaller fraction of the grant, the point of that was, we would buy it anyway.
Well, I personally was under the impression whether we get $0 or get the full $240,000, we were getting this truck, because
Well, that's what the meeting decided.
they
They didn't
voted to
bring
approve
up any other options, they didn't amend it. So, those are the cards.
it. All right, well, then I can reach out to Mac and find out when he's gonna go through the council. And, but in the meantime, are you finished with everything you want on your report? Because that would segue right into, because I was only gonna talk about trucks.
No, but if you wanna stick on trucks, I can pause and come back to me after you're done with you.
Okay.
Cause I've been in your position many times where I'm right for this.
Not a problem, not a problem.
They draw a hard line with you.
All right, so, pretty simple. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon, but I reached out to Brian at Dodge and Mike at HP Fairfield last week to inform them that the voters had approved the purchase of these trucks. And that the next thing I needed to do was to line up the financing, and Mike turned us on to tax exempt leasing. I've been in regular contact with Mark Z at tax exempt leasing. Like I said, I expect to see the contracts, two separate ones that we discussed last week. And I asked about, well, you know, the Dodge is a little more complicated because we're buying it from Dodge, but the snowplow work, which actually costs more than the actual vehicle, is being done by HP Fairfield. And they said he had a way of, you know, segmenting that particular loan, full amount, into two parts. So we'll see how he does that when he
For what benefit?
contract. What?
For what benefit to spend it on one truck? If I heard you right, he would give you a lease agreement for the truck itself and then the lease agreement for the plows and spread to go on?
No, it'd be one lease agreement, but the payout would happen, let's say, because presumably, you know, you start paying on the truck upon delivery. Oh, wait, let me look at the timing. It was,
No, we are doing it in arrears, which
Right.
means we get the
Yes.
truck and we pay 6 months later.
yes. Let me see, he understood the situation, that there were two parts to the Dodge. So the Dodge would be 73,680, and the snow plowing truck would be 81,860. So there was a way, yeah, I know, it's unbelievable that the snow plowing truck is even more than the vehicle itself. He said there was a way of doing it.
Well, I wasn't aware that we were splitting that. I thought it was a split
I
between.
don't wanna call it a split, okay?
All right.
It's just the way that the funds would be, doled out. But the point is, he is doing two separate contracts, one for the Western Star, one for the
Yes,
Dodge.
okay.
And the Dodge has that sort of two-part.
So they may delay all this, the amount
Anyway,
of time we need, it's a fleet decision.
Well, I expect to see the contracts today, and Brian and Mike are only waiting for the quotes to be signed by all of us and submitted, so that he can put in the order for payments. So, I would recommend, let's just sign all the paperwork, I just won't submit it to them yet until we get the tax exempt leasing contract, which is then reviewed by the lawyer. And then at that point, we decide what we do with the Western Star if we still don't know anything about the clean fleets. I mean, that would be my recommendation. And that's all I have.
Back to me.
Mark, yes.
Back to you.
So, Holly Evans contacted me from New Hampshire Emergency Management, Homeland Security. She had questions about, one of the reimbursements. She's going over everything to see where she can add more money because the tables that I had were obsolete at the time of doing this. So she asked for, materials invoices. It made me think, we are committing the village to keep these records of reimbursements that are being done, all the FEMA stuff, for 3 years after we finish that. So that would be, if we finish, and that could actually go into next year, so it could be 2007 that we finish everything. I don't know how they decide that date.
2027.
27, which means 3 years later would be 2030. So we'd have to have the records all available. And I was thinking, I gave her what she needed yesterday, but if I wasn't here, are we ready to, do we have a system set up that we can give, that we have the records available to give them 3 years ago? So that's my concern, is to, you're seeing all these records and emails, you have them too, if you keep the old emails, all the attachments, you have what they have.
Mhm.
Okay. But 3 years from now, is it gonna be easy for whoever's in the office to say, here's what you're asking for?
Should we, at the completion of all FEMA work, just create a separate file of those receipts, set it aside? Just one consolidated file, all FEMA work, that anybody in the future can say, FEMA work 2025 to 2027. It's there.
Yeah. To be sure, some kind of system where we know that they're backed up.
Right. In other words, we still keep all the normal files, but that's mixed in with all the other invoices we paid. So we just have a separate file that's strictly FEMA work. So you don't have to
A
go,
digital file or a physical file?
probably both. I would say probably both. That would make eminent sense. So the easiest thing is if they want it, 3, 4 years down, boom, here's the physical file, pull it all out, right there. That would be good.
And everything we could start now,
It would make-
putting the last year's and the prior year's stuff into the file. And then, cause you don't wanna recreate one or create one at the end of the FEMA stuff, at the end of next year, or potentially even the year after. Cause then you're gonna be recreating something from prior years. If we can start creating that file now.
Yeah.
I think that would be beneficial to the district.
Build it now and just keep adding to it as
Yeah.
we go along.
Yeah, I think it would be beneficial.
Because you're gonna see, you might remember me talking about file names time and time again.
Yes.
In this process. Well, what you have in emails that was sent by me to New Hampshire and to you, we're gonna make that a little difficult, because in giving her what she asked for yesterday, I had to go back over, for example, the Coleman files. Now, we would have a file from them that was an invoice, and it would have an invoice date. But that file could have two invoices in it. You have to scroll down to see that there's a second copy of another invoice in there.
Right.
Sometimes there would be separate days. There'd be more than one day that they were buying. There'd be trucking, gravel, and one invoice with one invoice number and one date for the invoice would say 2 days of purchases. Then you'd get an invoice that had two separate invoice numbers on it, 2 different days. In the file, that the file name isn't giving you a hint at all. So you have to go into the files and read everything on it to see what it is.
Yeah.
And so I wrote to her, I forgot from last August that there are Coleman files that have multiple invoices in them, which took me a lot of time. That's when I said, boy, if I'm having a hard time now, who's gonna do this 3 years from now? Have any idea? What a mess they have on their hands.
Yeah.
That's why I bring it.
Okay, no, it makes perfect sense. Start building a file.
You don't want to
FEMA
be
invoice.
cursed by unknown people in the future.
Well, like we do?
Exactly.
We'll be the targets of these.
Yeah, I'm curious about that too.
Well, how about the easiest way to start with is the administrator, as files starting today, going forward, create a separate, do your own filing system, but then create a copy.
There's a FEMA file.
There's a FEMA
So you
file?
can pull from the FEMA file. Everything should be there.
Oh, so you already
That's
have
good.
what we're talking about, is that?
If he sent everything to the office, what he submitted to FEMA for reimbursement.
Yep.
It's in that file.
So it would be a matter of creating the paper
Correct.
copy to go with it.
Paper copy?
Exactly.
Oh, okay, all right, so it sounds like we're already on track there. Okay,
You know, all the things like Coleman are in the file system elsewhere.
Yes.
So,
So are they part of that too?
They're in like 4 different spots, honestly.
okay,
so, so I'd like to make a motion or policy. And I sent the text via email a few days before I got here.
about the reimbursement policy?
Yes, so I'd like to make the motion of the following. This is a policy, the VDOE commissioners may submit a request for reimbursement with digital copies of the receipts by email to the VDOE office. No hard copies or wet ink signatures are required.
What does that mean?
Second,
It means
sorry.
if, recently I put in for my Microsoft, I think I did that, I think I just sent you via email, the receipt, and you
There's a
said,
request form.
right, and you told me you had to fill out a request form, but
Yeah.
you cut me my check anyway, he's saying that the request form goes away. Just if a commissioner sends you the digital copy of the receipt,
I think there has to be some kind of other type of request to show that it'll list everything that you're requesting, and that the check was issued and you received the check.
Well,
I believe that was the purpose of that form.
right, but now we're looking to make it a little bit different. So if I were to send an email,
No, I'm not, I need something in writing. I'm not in agreement with just sending an email to the office and cutting checks. I believe there has to be some accountability for
well,
what it is
hold on,
that you're
hold on.
getting
The
reimbursed for.
email would have to have attached the receipts.
And usually they do.
Yeah, that's all that this new policy is saying. Email, please reimburse me for my Microsoft account.
Giving you a reimbursement in the check, why it's difficult for you to acknowledge that you're receiving this and these are the items you're getting reimbursed for. It would happen at the same time a check is being issued to you, it's part of a manifest. Just like I presented it to you the last time.
Well, yeah, but I never filled out that paperwork, I still got a check. So the point is,
Yes,
what?
you did, I presented it to you, you signed it and gave it back to
Oh,
me.
that's perfect. Okay. All right, so, there's a motion in effect, which has been seconded,
For
that,
discussion,
for discussion, and we're discussing it now, you're against it, but the commissioners may be for it, that an email describing what we want to be reimbursed for, and it obviously has to include the receipt, so you can keep it in your records, and match that against the reimbursement.
yes.
So what's so difficult about that?
What's so difficult in presenting back to you?
No, what's so
when you
difficult
receive the
about,
check?
no, what's so difficult about an
Well,
email
I
with
don't
a receipt?
understand why this is even an issue. What was the
It's not an
problem
issue,
to begin with?
it's merely
Why
a
are
way
you
of
getting
changing
upset?
business. I'm not getting upset.
You
Okay.
kinda seem like you are,
Because
questioning
it's so straightforward.
a method that was apparently always presented and always something that needed to be done.
Okay, that's the way it was always done. Now we're discussing a new way of doing business, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Why? Why, what's the purpose of not allowing this form to be
It's
signed?
not allowing, it is just doing away with that system, with a new system that's a little bit more cleaner, less paper.
It's just something that you would sign when you're receiving a check.
I think she's saying that it's a validation that you
It's
received the check.
correct.
Signing the check, validation, you got.
Yeah, a
Okay.
canceled check is validation.
That's true. So I think what they're saying is that step, it maybe doesn't need to be in.
So you want to do away with this
Yes,
process?
that's a
of
nineteen seventies,
For the
1980s
commissioners.
version of
I'm
doing
sorry?
it.
For the commissioners is the motion.
Only the
It does
commissioners.
not say anything about employees.
That's a good point.
Employees would still need to sign that form.
Thank you.
I think we're just, you were all talking around what was the
Okay,
I
so
know.
it's just for the commissioner.
Right, just for the
That's what the
commissioners.
motion says.
Okay, thank you, Nancy, that's a very good point, over my head. But yes, employees sometimes need to get reimbursed too, so the same paperwork will be a requirement. But commissioners can send an email with, obviously, you have to have a proof of purchase that's a reimbursable expense. So, all in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
3-0.
Thank you.
Okay,
Secondly, I'd like to make a motion that I get reimbursed for the supplies I bought for the first aid cabinets in both DPW yards, garages. And I submitted those invoices by email in February. And one was submitted March 3rd. So I'd like those to be reimbursed.
Second.
you have all those?
I can check into it.
So it would be send an email with the receipt.
We have been sending we've been sending requests for reimbursements, but this way, since we started as a board in 2024. And it was only recently you were asked to fill in the form, which you evidently didn't have to
You've
do.
always had the form. I have
Okay,
evidence that
all right,
Mark
all right,
completed the
all right,
form
all
and
right.
signed it.
It's fine, yeah, we just, check to make sure
So
those,
the
you
motion on
you
the
have
floor
those
is
in
that I
copy.
get paid for
Yes.
the requests I've already made
Second,
a month ago.
Nancy already seconds.
okay, then aye.
Aye. Rita.
That's it.
Okay, at 10:01, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is water. It says amount to charge 8 Little Shore, and if I
Yeah.
recall correctly, this was the home that we had to shut off the water because the leak on their owner's side was impacting our road.
Yes.
Okay, so has Simply Water repaired that? Do we know? 'Cause you're more the expert on this, Nancy, but it seems to me there'd be two components to the work that they did. Whatever they charge for a shut off and a return on of the curb stop, and then the actual work on the homeowner's side. So my question would be, obviously, anything on the homeowner's side, repairing their sewer is fine. The homeowner has to pay. But we were the ones who unilaterally took action to cut off the water because it impacted our roads.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming we would have to pay for that, just to turn off and turn on. I don't know, have you encountered this situation before in the past?
Yes, she has.
Yes. Yes.
Short
Yes,
answer, yes.
and-
She's
and I
already,
don't,
already filling in the rest of the answer.
yeah, and yes, I don't recall specifically whether or not the homeowner got charged for that shut off when it was shut off at the district's request.
I think it's the policy that if the line fails on your side, on your property, you shut it off.
Yes,
But who pays for the shut off?
They created the problem.
yeah. It is on their issue. It is
That's what I wanted
the
to talk about.
homeowner's issue, so,
Because there is that, we unilaterally made that decision, but the other side of the coin is that the homeowners, their line created the problem.
Plus
The charge on this was
the
$600.
contractor had to spend time figuring out what was going on and had to dig down pretty deep to get to that
Correct.
curb stop
Okay. All right. so
in the
then-
winter.
So I'll make a motion that the homeowner is responsible for 100% of the bill, which includes curb stop off and on, assuming the repair has been effected.
This is the full invoice, it was $600,
second.
okay?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that 3-0?
Yes, it
3-0,
is.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, it is 10:04, let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the administrator's report. You have anything?
Not yet.
We'll move on to the next item, still 10:04, which is old business tabled items, Mitchell Municipal draft invoice. So I saw we requested, let's go into a non-public sort of thing. We requested paperwork on this. So I saw we requested, let's go into a non-public sort of thing. We requested paperwork on this. So I saw we requested, let's go into a non-public sort of thing. We requested paperwork on this. So I saw we requested, let's go into a non-public sort of thing. We requested paperwork on this. So I saw we requested, let's go into a non-public sort of thing. We requested paperwork on this. So I saw we requested, let's go into a non-public sort of thing. We requested paperwork on this. So I saw we requested, let's go into a non-public sort of thing. We requested paperwork on this. So I saw we requested, let's go into a non-public sort of thing. We requested paperwork on this. So I saw we requested.
Aye.
Okay.
3-0. All right, 10:05, we'll move on to signature items.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, which is the pond ordinance and the water, not hookup ordinance, just water ordinance. All right? Got copies of that to sign?
Yeah, it had the pond ordinance. But it doesn't appear to be here. At the water ordinance. It may be still at the office or miraculously it doesn't appear to be here. But
Okay.
here's the water system ordinance.
Well, we're gonna be there this afternoon, so.
Yeah,
No, you gotta redo this because you spelled my name incorrectly.
okay, that's not mine. Nancy worked this out, so.
Oops, sorry.
It's McNevin, not McNevin. All right. Let's table
So
that for a
sign-
moment.
Sign at office
Yes.
later this afternoon?
Yes. Okay, so the next item on signature items, this is going to be go to the non-public item, so we'll just skip over that for now. And at 10:07, we'll go to correspondence. We got an email from a homeowner regarding our citing of a particular RSA as
Yeah.
justification to modify the pond ordinance and when
The annual meeting,
annual meeting.
a pass,
Yes.
Right, that's all that matters.
and that's the important part.
Yes, so when I first heard that, city council said it doesn't apply to village district, I'm thinking, wait a minute. There's 234 municipalities in New Hampshire, of which there's only 13 cities. 221 are towns and village districts and things like that. So it occurred to me, wait, it's probably a cover for everything, but it's not. It's not. So I did some research into this. Yes, city councils have broad authority to enact ordinances, whereas towns are covered by town meetings, the legislative body, and the board of selectmen or commissioners. So the way I look at it is we were partially wrong in citing that RSI, but we still did it the correct way
Correct,
by putting it to the legislative body to vote on it.
yes,
Okay, if we had totally misinterpreted that RSA, we would have changed it unilaterally on our own, which city councils can do, which we can't in the village district. But we did it
right,
the
but
correct
that's
way.
where the whole, requirement for holding public hearings, having them in the paper and available 10 days in advance, that's where that whole RSA comes from.
Yeah.
So we have been doing it properly, we've been doing it the same way since the district first had an ordinance. And Dan Crean was the lawyer at the time, and David Maudsley would have been the administrator at the time. And it did not get overlooked if there was some type of what size village district you are, it wouldn't have gotten overlooked. And that's one of the comments that gets made, is something about having 10,000 people or something, you know? Which doesn't exist in, I think, any village district in New Hampshire. I
Yeah.
don't think there's any that are that big.
So I guess what I'm
Well, there might
saying is,
be.
when we put that slide,
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm just saying, we didn't really even need to put that slide up, we just had to present the warrant article, that
Correct.
we wanted to make these revisions to the ordinance, and, you know, everybody gets to vote on it.
Right.
They
So,
they could have voted no, but they didn't.
correct.
did you receive this email? Was it sent to you?
I saw it.
I saw it.
Sure, it was something, the office forwarded to us.
Correct.
Yeah. Last week, it was right after.
We don't have to look for it.
What's that?
Anyway,
I
this,
can resend it.
this point was debated at the meeting, right?
Yes,
It was.
So why are we discussing this?
because he sent a follow-up email saying the same thing that was said at the annual meeting.
To what point?
That he was right.
You know, I don't know what point.
The point that he made at the
So we don't
meeting.
have to spend too much time with this.
No, we don't.
No, and I don't believe we need to respond.
I don't think so. I mean, it was done correctly. by putting it to the legislative body.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, all right, so let's just move on. All right, next, the Rock House Mountain Property Owners Association. Response to letter dated March 11th, certified received 3/18/26. So were we just gonna send a response to them saying that all your, those lease agreements are expired?
It's not lease agreements,
What were they?
it's
exactly?
covenants
Covenants.
that were added to deeds
Mhm.
when the village, it wasn't even, it was Eidelweiss development at the time, before they went out of business and the village district became, and Rock House separated out. They were originally sections G and J of the Eidelweiss development. And when they went out of business and everything changed and the district was formed and Rock House was formed, those covenants that were on their deeds from section J and G of Eidelweiss development, as well as to anything on our deeds, went away and they expired in 1986.
So it wasn't when the village formed, it was when the covenants expired.
Yeah.
It had an expiration date in it, which I would like to see also. There was a hard copy here at the last meeting.
Last week there was, and we gave it back to.
Yeah, it's here.
So, therefore, you didn't get to read it, actually.
We didn't have time to go through, there was a lot of pages, so I just
Right.
sort of skimmed over it. But
Should
do you
we,
believe there was a?
should we scan all that and have a copy of it?
Yeah, but was this to discuss how we're gonna respond?
Well, is a copy of the covenants in there that would have the date that we're talking about?
They sent two copies.
I would think you would wanna see covenants that Nancy's talking about.
Right.
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 Covenants that Nancy's.
Respond, and I believe was that, if they approve it, that,
Covenants expired in the 60s,
Expired,
in the
therefore.
80s.
therefore, nobody in Rock House has, the right to use our beaches. Okay. So,
Did scheduled appearances need this? Is there a vote on scheduled appearances?
there usually is.
Yep, it's next.
Well, it says public appearance, public comments.
Oh.
So, public
Right.
appearance is just anybody who shows up, scheduled appearance.
So either Larry's anybody that showed up or he was scheduled as.
He was kind of scheduled,
He was
because,
scheduled.
yeah.
Sorry, took longer to dig out this morning.
Absolutely, timing's perfect.
Actually, are, because we're, all right. So, should I swear him in as assistant village clerk, or do you want to?
You can do it.
I'll do it.
You can do it, and you'll be doing it as a commissioner.
He's the moderator.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Mr. Soldano, front and center. All right, raise your right hand.
Right.
Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Larry Sedana, Lawrence Sedana,
Excellent. Do solemnly and sincerely affirm
do solemnly and sincerely affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge all
and perform all the
and
duties
perform all duties
incumbent on me as moderator
incumbent on me as moderator
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
agreeably to the rules and regulations
agreeably to the rules and regulations
of the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire.
of the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire.
This I do under the pains and penalties of perjury.
This I do under the pains and penalties of perjury.
Congratulations, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I think,
You gotta sign.
Oh, I need, yeah, I need to execute.
That's you. You sign there and then you sign it.
Thanks.
Okay. Sign date assistant.
The travel logs through Alabama are great.
Yeah, unfortunately, the rental car is fine. The camper
But
van
it wasn't
didn't make
the-
it past North Carolina.
Didn't slow you down. While you're doing that, I'll make a motion that we recess the meeting at 10:17. To resume at the garage.
Are we going into non-public?
Yes, we need to go into
No,
non-public.
we're recessing the public meeting, and we'll reconvene at the garage at a public meeting, and we'll go into non-public session there.
Oh, okay, we're gonna go into non-public session there.
You got other ones that need to be done here?
Um,
That's what I think that case meant.
there's,
That was the one we can do non-public. I sent you the letter.
Yes.
We've got back to you, say, got the wrong price.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do now.
It's dated yesterday too, so I don't know if we can change that too.
So,
do we want to discuss that here in non-public?
Let me just get it all over with, that way, we can have a clean copy. Let's discuss it in non-public for this afternoon. Or final.
I'm confused.
I am too.
We can't sign it because we don't have a good copy to sign right now, because we said the date and so forth.
Correct, but we can review it.
That's all it is right now, it's just a review.
Take it, you want to do it now, so that's fine with me.
I didn't get a chance to read it, so,
I'd like to do it right now, it'll take all of 2 minutes. once
Okay,
it's
so-
done,
okay.
Okay,
So can we still recess first and then go into non-public?
I think we should recess.
the public.
No, we need to vote. If you're gonna do it now, we don't recess, we're going to go into non-public session. during the
Okay.
public
Then we
portion of
do the
this
recess
meeting, then
after.
we recess it after this non-public session to go into another non-public session at the garage at 2
Yeah.
o'clock. You need a scorecard here, fans.
all right,
Okay, we're moving into
I'm
non-public.
gonna make a motion that we go into non-public. Nancy, how do you vote?